I've been fly fishing about 35 years. After my son learned to fly fish, and he would use his fly rod, and he always caught more fish. And that's what really started me. I got to learn how to fly fish. You know, I want to catch more fish. It was as simple as that for me. For me, it's more intriguing than the other kinds of fishing. It's more challenging. Many people call it a thinking person's sport, and I think maybe that's part of why, you know, I'm attracted to it. But what I like about it is the grace and the beauty and the quiet, and there's a lot you have to figure it out. And one of the things I like best about fly fishing is when I catch a fish. I mean, I've never been to that spot before. I've never fished there, but I just like the idea of thinking about, okay, so what fly do I think will catch this fish in this kind of water? What kind of cast? Where do I have to cast? How do I have to drift my fly? So you're very engaged, I think, when you're fly fishing. My ex-husband used to say, spin fishing should be called, you can just sling it out there and drink beer. And maybe I said that's kind of why I didn't like it particularly, is because I don't drink beer. Well, I've always been a worrier, always. And I'm one of those people that is looking 20 miles down the road, like, you know, what's going to happen here and what should I do about this? And I always say part of what I got out of all of that was cancer. Cancer is supposed to be easier to come by from people who are stressed. And then cancer changed my life. It absolutely changed my whole world. And then after that, I began to think more in terms of what is it I love that I want to do, since I don't know how much longer I have to live. And every single time I asked myself that question, the answer came up: fly fishing. Go fish. Just go fish. I really felt like somehow there was a connection between my healing and going fly fishing. There's a saying in fly fishing that the first big thrill is the first fish you catch on a fly rod. Second big thrill is the thrill you get the first time you catch a fly on a fly that you tied. And then the third big thrill is supposed to be when you build your own fly rod. So that is sort of a progression of, you know, more and more complexity and you know, all of that. But it's very, very fun. People do get a real thrill out of catching a fish on a fly that they tied. I'm a lawyer in another life. I taught at the university for 14 years. I've been a teacher. I've been a legislative lobbyist. I'm an author. I do lots of stuff. But I didn't really envision it to turn out quite like this. What happened is, after I started fly fishing, I would go often to practice by myself. You know, sometimes I'd run down to the Russian River just for the day, you know, for myself, and be home in time for dinner. And while I would be practicing or on the water or casting, women that I didn't know would come over to me and say things like, "I've always wanted to learn how to fly fish," or "Where did you learn to fly fish?" or "Do you teach people how to fly fish?" So it wasn't long before I kind of got the idea of, you know, there's women out there that were like me that want to start fly fishing, and they're looking for a woman to teach them, but there isn't such a thing. You didn't see any woman guides. You never saw an article in a magazine by a woman. You never saw pictures in the magazine of a woman holding a fish. It was just as though, as far as fly fishing was concerned, women didn't really exist. So over time, now there are other women guides. There are, there are women who have their own businesses. I know a woman who owns her own fly shop. So women are now coming into fly fishing. There's